Yep. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, September 9th special Common Council meeting. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Kim Smith,
Here.
Jim Benash,
Here.
Kathy Lohendorf, here. Stephen Knott is absent. Mike Milky,
Here.
Larry Jurassic,
Present.
Diane Wolf, here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. We'll now move on to consideration and possible action on the following items. Item 2, appeal of the denial of the beverage operator's license application to Carson Frankhauser. Who's going to introduce this item to the council this evening? Amanda or Chief Ashbeck?
I'm going to let Ash back.
Okay. All right, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, so tonight we're here because Carson Fankhauser had applied for an operator's permit and I had recommended denial based on an item that came up in his background check that was not disclosed on the application. And so I did not know, whether it was an item that he just left off unintentionally or if he intentionally tried to hide it. And so, as I've done in past, I've recommended denial. And he has chosen to appeal that. I would note that in his appeal, just for anyone that's not familiar with how like an operating under the influence citation works. So what we do is if we arrest somebody for operating while under the influence, we'll cite them for that. And there's kind of a sister statute that comes along with it. And if we send in for blood results or an intoximeter results, then what happens is they're cited with a prohibited alcohol content, PAC ticket. And so what happens then in court is they'll dismiss the operating while under the influence ticket and they'll be convicted of the PAC ticket. And that's what Mr. Fankhauser was convicted of. And so I'm not sure if he just wasn't aware of that. I mean, part of his argument is that the OWI charge, it's really semantics. In my denial, or I guess our clerk's denial letter, it listed as an OWI, but really it's a PAC violation, same thing. And so I guess we're just looking for council to decide whether or not they want to uphold the denial or overturn it.
Okay, Amanda, did you want to add anything?
The one thing I would just clarify is that in his appeal, he notes that this was a civil PAC violation, which is not a criminal violation. That was not the question asked in the application, and both in operating while intoxicated as well as a prohibited alcohol content are, civil violations for your first offense. And so either way, he would have had to note either one of those, whether the PAC was dismissed or the OWI was dismissed. And this is a question that comes up a lot. It's a question not just asked on a lot of our license forms, but also, job applications and things like that. And so that's something that people are individually responsible for, is sort of understanding when they need to acknowledge, that they've pled, whether it's guilty or no contest to these. That responsibility is on the individual person.
Kathy?
Is issuance of a citation the equivalent of a conviction?
No, he pled no contest. So,
But it says it's a traffic forfeiture. So that's a citation, right? That's a traffic citation?
I mean, a PAC is considered a traffic citation, yes.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if maybe that was why he was confused, because I guess if I got issued a ticket, I would probably disclose it myself because it's related. But if I was issued a ticket, I might see where that I wouldn't consider that a conviction per se.
But he he had to then go through the court system and he had to plead no contest. So he actively acknowledged that he was being, he was pleading no contest to this and accepting the fine, the forfeiture, the responsibility for it.
Sure.
So I feel like the word issuance is misleading. People are issued tickets and sometimes they're dismissed, right? Like this was not dismissed.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Alder Wolf?
Thank you, Your Honor. I had a quick question. I know when we had a denial and a contest of an appeal, excuse me, about a year ago or so, we ended up going into closed session. Is that something that we're looking at doing tonight, or we don't think it's necessary, or I'm just trying to understand the difference?
I was not present for that one, and so I guess I'm not 100% sure. I mean, we do have it noticed as a possibility. Most of what we're discussing is public record.
Okay.
I think there's juvenile information the last time and that
Yeah.
went to closed session.
Knew there had to be something different. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Ash, did you have a question or comment?
On the similar lines of what Kathy said, I'm looking at number 3. It says conviction of any substance abuse during the past 2 years. Under the rule of the law, a prohibited alcohol content, is this considered a conviction? My understanding is that it isn't under the rule of the law. This might not be considered a conviction as a court, how can I put that? The way the court finds it, hey, I'm giving you a break kind of thing.
That's not what his denial was for, though. His denial was for, if you go about halfway down the application, it says, have you ever been convicted of an alcohol or drug offense? And then it says, an example, underage drinking, OWI, DWI, sale to a minor, possession of it in the last 5 years, and he checked no. So that's what he was denied for, was he should have checked yes.
Well, and looking at what he had sent to the city, I'm only just playing devil's advocate here, but here's someone who probably doesn't understand, if I'm dismissed, I'm not convicted. So if you read into it, I mean, that is a possibility. I didn't understand. It's been dismissed. I wasn't convicted of these things. Therefore, I can check this box. He's not here to ask those questions. But I would prefer to hear from the defendant as to what exactly was his intent.
Let's finish our conversation first and then we'll do that in an organized
All right.
manner. So the only, for clarity, the only reason, if he would have said yes on that question and disclosed this information, would this have passed? Would he been allowed the operator's license?
Correct. If he would have checked yes and then listed down the date and the name of court and the information on the conviction, then yes, I would have recommended approval.
Okay. So that's the only barrier at this point. Okay, let the record show Stephen Knott has joined the meeting. Are there any other questions before we bring the applicant for a question?
I had the same question you had.
Okay. All right. Okay, Karsten, would you like to approach Karsten Frankhauser? Welcome. Would you like to just make a brief statement?
Yeah, I truthfully didn't mean to. I thought that the civil PAC violation was it wasn't a conviction. I didn't go to jail for anything at all. That's why I clicked no. I didn't. All I got was just that ticket, and I didn't think it was really a misdemeanor or a felony or anything like that. I was just trying to get my bartender's license. I really didn't mean to call it. Yeah, I really didn't mean to misinform on the application.
Alder Jurassic?
There's been no events since this time, correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's been no events since this time?
No, I'm sober. I haven't drank since the event occurred.
Okay. Alder Lorendorf?
Is it safe to assume that approval of this application is, you need this to be able to have it, get a job?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Alder Benash.
Were there any conditions when you were at court with the judge, when the other charges were dismissed? Were there any other conditions?
No,
with
just-
PAC?
Just the fine that I had to pay.
Amanda, do we have any other similar, has this ever happened before? Do we have any, like precedents? I can't
No.
remember any myself.
No, not recently. And really, city staff doesn't necessarily take a position on this one. We, don't have the ability to do anything with it on our end. I do think if it's the council's purview that you want to overturn it, I hope this would be an education moment, just because this is a question that will continue to pop up, not just on, like I said, not just on applications, but on job applications as well throughout the next several years. And you may not find as much grace. And so just really understanding what this means as far as having to provide that information if asked.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a job application, we likely would just say no and be done with it because there's plenty of other applicants. Okay, Carson, you can go ahead and sit down. So should we move on to item 2? Or I'm not sure how this formatting is set up on the agenda.
So, I think at this point, we really are on item 3. We're just not in closed session. So, this is really discussion and possible action on,
Okay, yeah, so I think we've gathered all the information that we need to either put a motion on the floor or tell me what other information you need as a council to move forward with this.
I think that given Chief Ashbeck's comment of, had this information been understood that it was supposed to be disclosed at the time, that it still would have been approved. I'd like to motion to approve the
Um,
um,
appeal,
appeal of denial. Thank you.
okay? So we have a motion.
Second it.
So we have a motion on the floor by Kathy Lohendorf to approve the appeal of the denial. And it has been seconded by Larry Jurassic. Is there further discussion by anybody? Staff have any questions or any discussion? No? Okay, not seeing or hearing. All in favor of approving the appeal? Say aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. Stephen Knott?
I'll just vote present since I missed some of the discussion.
Sure. Okay, the motion carries with one, I guess, abstention or non-voting member. All others were in favor. So that concludes that discussion. And item 4 is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Alder Wolf to adjourn. It's been seconded by Alder Lohendorf. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We are adjourned and the time is 6:44. Thank you, everyone.